NelsonJoypad.com bring you another original. It's fucking great.
Greetings and welcome to Mouse and Joypad's Gaming Week with me, Trevor Holland. In a week that contained E3, here's what's coming up in today's show. We'll be looking back at some of E3's biggest announcements, including Assassin's Creed Unity, Evolve, Doom, Far Cry 4, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and the announcement of Xbox One's new achievement tracker feature. Later, we'll be crossing over to Ernest Tramadol for this week's Story Corner, and finally, we'll take a moment away from gaming to show you our favourite viral video of the last few weeks. New details of Ubisoft's upcoming Assassin's Creed Unity have been revealed. During their E3 press conference, Alex Amancio, who is the creative director at Ubisoft Montreal, revealed not only the full cinematic trailer for the title, but also a pants-wetting slice of gameplay footage. The gameplay video as well as the details of the reveal can be found at mouseandjoypad.com. However, be warned that those of you of the male persuasion should refrain from viewing this in the public domain. The ensuing erection and inevitable Guy gravy spillage will more than likely result in a significant social faux pas, particularly if, for example, you happen to be waiting at the school gates to pick up your child, or queuing to kiss your Auntie Nora's freshly embalmed cadaver goodbye at her grossly ill-judged open casket service. Do yourselves a favour, stay in the house, close those curtains, light a candle, lube up and have your wicked way with some of the sexiest gaming footage ever seen. The game itself will feature for the first time a cooperative campaign which will allow up to 4 friends to play through the story together. Our new protagonist will be Arno, who is a Robert Pattinson lookalike with a penchant for hooded trench coats, who will fight his way towards freeing Paris of the ever-tightening grip of the Templars. Assassin's Creed Unity will also feature a new addition to the Assassin's arsenal, a new weapon called the Phantom Blade, which is not only a hidden blade but also a miniature crossbow for those hard-to-reach ranged killings. Assassin's Creed Unity is scheduled for release this October, so watch this space for more French war porn. 2K Games and Turtle Rock Studios have unveiled a new trailer for their upcoming release Evolve, which promises to be a true revolution in multiplayer gaming, allowing players to opt for the role of either the hunted or the hunter, a dynamic many internet chat room users will be far too familiar with already. The game will involve matches of 4 versus 1, 4 being the players attempting to hunt a giant alien life form, and 1 being the alien itself. Ubisoft have treated fans to a glimpse into Kyrat, the fictional Himalayan location of Far Cry 4. The game's main protagonist is AJ Gale, who has returned to his place of birth in order to scatter his mother's ashes. However, a Far Cry game would not be a Far Cry game if everything didn't go horribly wrong and throw you into the midst of a bloody fight for survival in an increasingly hostile environment. AJ's bus is pulled over at the border by what look like local armed forces. This quickly escalates into a full-blown gunfight, which sees AJ scrambling out of the back of the bus to avoid decorating its interior with his gungy brain matter and splinters of his shattered skull like some sort of postmodern Artex. Dan Hay, who is executive producer of Far Cry 4, explained the premise of the game in scientific terms, saying, "On November 18th, you'll be travelling on a bus heading towards an armed border at the foot of the Himalayas. We'll give you a fake passport, a little bit of cash, and a gun. After that, well, you're fucked." Well said, Mr. Hay. The game itself boasts a beautifully rendered open world packed with a host of wildlife, including elephants, which will play a significant role in the game and can be weaponised in a variety of ways. The granddaddy of first-person shooters, Doom, has been announced with a teaser trailer. In the 1990s, gamers were introduced to the wonderful, gratuitously violent and crudely rendered world of Doom, which at the time revolutionised the gaming experience. Although the trailer reveals very little, it does reveal what's important, the fact that a new Doom is coming. That's enough to generate worldwide excitement and wet dreams at the prospect of a new release. The trailer promises that more will be revealed at this year's QuakeCon. Until then, enjoy the trailer at mouseandjoypad.com. Fans of the legendary Tomb Raider series were left frustrated when Xbox 360's Tomb Raider was given little more than a lick of paint for its Xbox One upgrade. However, Crystal Dynamics have unveiled Rise of the Tomb Raider, which promises to deliver both on gameplay and visuals. In the reveal trailer, Lara Croft has seemingly got her knickers in a twist and is seeking counselling for trauma caused by her experiences. It's here that we see Lara decide to go all badass and become the deadly explorer we all know, love, and who many spent their teenage years keeping Kleenex in business over. Rise of the Tomb Raider is due for release in 2015. Microsoft have revealed a new achievement feature for Xbox One. The new Snap mode will allow gamers to see a list of achievements in order of how close they are to completion, as well as the ability to seek help with the more difficult ones to master. This seems like an incredibly helpful feature, but one that I'm pleased isn't being introduced to real life. An app that's forever reminding you of how much of a failure you are is not one that anyone, particularly gamers, will want to see. Receiving a notification every 5 minutes that says, "You still haven't washed the cum out of your socks, you dirty little shit," could get boring quite quickly. Now it's time to hand over to Ernest Tramadol for this week's Story Corner. Hello boys and girls, my name's Ernest Tramadol and this is a story to help you go to sleep. It's sunset in Los Santos. The cloudless sky paints an awe-inspiring landscape of deep oranges and subtle purples which skip across the soft ripples of the glittering Pacific Ocean like a glossy ballerina. The city is alive, teeming with people going about their daily business in the sprawling metropolis of the city. Joggers jog, workers work, commuters commute, dealers deal, and gangbangers bang. Los Santos truly is the land of opportunity. Among the crowds, Trevor Phillips is eating from a bin and shouting incoherently at passers-by. It should also be noted that he's wearing only a pair of stained Y-fronts. These stains, with their ambiguous and worrying array of colours, juxtapose perfectly against the beautiful velvet tones of the sky. After dinner, Trevor begins to stroll along the pavement with the sort of understated swagger that can only be the result of a life rich with experience. Trevor silently ponders his life and how events have unfolded for him to end up where he is, doing what he's doing. Suddenly, it dawns on Trevor that he's incredibly bored. Not only that, but he becomes acutely aware of the fact that he's walking. Why is he doing this? He should be driving. At this point, a gleaming sports car trundles past Trevor, its massive engine purring like a dreaming lion, stopping to allow an elderly lady to cross the street. It stops for just long enough to allow Trevor to pull out his pistol, shoot the driver through the temple, and splatter bone fragments and brain matter across the windscreen like an exploding bowl of raspberry ripple ice cream. Trevor then hurriedly pulls the soggy corpse from the vehicle, dropping it on the tarmac below, and gets in. Before pulling away, he changes the radio station to some death metal, puts the car in gear, and screeches away directly into the path of the elderly lady, who is still crossing the street,
launching her several feet into the air with all the grace of an epileptic gymnast. She bounces off the bonnet like a basketball bounces off the face of the class nerd in PE, and she hits the ground with the crunch of a shattered bone. Trevor notices that as she lay on the tarmac, she's still moving. So, ever the perfectionist, he slams the car into reverse and drives directly over her face, creating a meat feast pizza of tarmac flesh. Once satisfied that death's eternal embrace has enveloped the former old lady's soul, Trevor is now able to drive away from the scene, basking in the self-satisfaction of a job well done. As Trevor weaves through traffic on the wrong side of the road, it suddenly dawns on him that the double killing he just committed has just made him incredibly horny. Fortunately, there is a cornucopia of prostitutes in Los Santos, and it's not long before he sees one, advertising her horrendous wares for the dark and desperate of society to feast upon. Trevor pulls over, honks his horn and waits, as the clinically obese lady of the night waddles to the passenger side of the car, like a sleepy hippo, opens the door and gets in. Now, this particular prostitute is nothing if she's not classy, and will not partake in any pleasures of the flesh unless Trevor finds a lovely, picturesque, secluded area in which to do so. Trevor, impressed with her romantic streak, is happy to oblige, and pulls into a side street, populated by rats, wheelie bins, a burnt-out car, and a group of hobos standing around a burning steel barrel discussing alien invasions, the orange glow of the flames illuminating the pockmarked skin and wiry beards of the homeless mentalists. If this isn't picturesque, nothing is. Trevor stops the car, and at this stage is presented with the carnal menu for the evening. There are 3 options, 20, 50, and for the extravagant connoisseur of the rented orifice, a $70 option. Trevor is in a middle-of-the-road kind of mood and opts for the $50 service. To his pleasant surprise, the $50 option consists of 10 seconds of indifferent and unenthusiastic fellatio. Perhaps, if his rigid member had been coated in cookie dough, her enthusiasm may have improved. No matter. Upon slimy completion, Trevor hands over the money, and the prostitute wipes her mouth and alights from the vehicle. At this point, Trevor realizes he doesn't agree with the idea of paying for sex, and so proceeds to get out of his car. He then approaches the prostitute and punches her in the back of the head, knocking her to the ground. Trevor takes a knife from his pocket and then proceeds to stab her through all parts of her body, over and over and over and over, a total of 80 times, until her gargling of her body and the residual still warm man juice ceases and the death rattle subsides. He then gathers his money and walks away from the corpse and the ever-increasing pool of blood which gathers from underneath her lifeless body. Trevor, in a moment of lucidity, realizes the DNA implications of this particular kill. So he takes a few paces back and throws a hand grenade at her, which rolls and comes to a halt about an inch from her right arm. After 5 seconds or so, the grenade explodes with a mighty bang, sending the dead prostitute at least 30 feet into the air. She lands on a nearby rooftop and gently burns, flames gently lapping across her charred dead flesh like a suckling pig at a pretentious wedding. It really is quite beautiful. Trevor then returns to his car and drives off into the sunset, having enjoyed yet another fulfilling day. Good night, children.
Thank you, Ernest. In other news, who doesn't love a viral video? People with better things to do, you say? Well, fuck you, all you busy fulfilled people. We don't need you. Fuck off and fill out your pie chart with all your achievements. Eat it and choke on it, you arrogant prick. I hate you. For the rest of you, who doesn't love a viral video? Our favourite one of the last few weeks has to be the one of the little cat playing Jenga. Wasn't he lovely? Choosing the little brick with his little paw, carefully removing it. Oh, isn't he just precious? For those who haven't seen it, here it is.
Look how my cat plays Jenga. Trevor!
No.
Trevor!
Yeah.
Do you want to play Jenga?
Yeah.
Come on. Well, that was uncalled for.
Right, that's about all from me. For more on this week's stories, to see all the trailers and to find out the latest news and reviews, go straight to mouseandjoypad.com. I'll be back next week. In the meantime, you can find me on Twitter at Mr. Trevor Holland. Until next time, happy gaming and keep those socks coming. Bye!